everyone. As promised, here is your tutorial regarding deliverable 1 of the team project. So what I wanted to start with was taking a look again at the team policies and expectations, because it's really important. When I get those emails at the last minute that members aren't contributing, they haven't heard from anyone, I want to make sure everybody understands the requirements. So if you look at the team policies and expectations, you see that everyone must actively participate. Someone has to be designated as the team captain. Generally, I say it's the first to post unless everyone agrees otherwise. Now, the other thing is that you want to choose common meeting times that are good for everybody and a method of communication that works for everyone. You can't expect to give somebody your telephone number and just think that they're going to text or call you or give you, you all have to be on the same page, in other words. That tends to drop everybody into a whirlwind or tailspin when not everybody has agreed to the same mode of communication, because it doesn't work for everyone. Also, the team captain is the one that submits the project on behalf of the entire team. Unless for some reason the team captain can't get to the computer, then one other person can go ahead and do so. But I only need one submission per team. When I get more than one submission, I generally will send out an email asking whether or not, why that happened, because I want to make sure that, in fact, the submission is for the individuals that are listed on the title page, which also brings me to the title page. Make sure, please, that you have a title page, and the title page should list on there your team number, as well as the names of all of the contributing team members. And a contributing team member is one who actively participates and one who actually gets their part of the project to the team captain by the specified day. Now, I have a specified callback day in the team policies that is Thursday prior to the due date of all assignments. If in fact a team member does not get their documentation to the team captain by that Thursday, then the team captain can forego accepting it and go ahead and figure out a plan to make up for that lost submission and how the team as a whole is going to fill that gap. Because you can't, if the project is due Sunday, it is not reasonable at all to expect that you're going to give your team captain or your team your project, part of the project, on Saturday or on Sunday morning. That's not okay, because your team captain has to be able to assimilate everything, get a draft back out to everyone, get that draft approved, and then submit the final version of the project. So everybody has to respect each other's times. I realize everybody's in a time crunch and it's summer and you just want to get the class done, but let's work together as a team and respect each other's time constraints, understanding that you do have to get your assignment to the team captain by that Thursday. So now, with that said, let's go ahead and let's take a look at the deliverable for this week. Now, the deliverable for this week concerns creating a hypothetical scenario. The hypothetical scenario has to be based on something that is associated with e-commerce or cyber law of some sort. So when I say cyber law, what I mean is perhaps it's a security breach situation, or let's talk about the dissemination of information in violation of a federal law, or it's a breach of contract situation. Usually when you have a breach of contract situation, you also have a trade secret violation oftentimes, because usually when you hire somebody, especially in the tech world, you have obviously things that are being worked on that may be considered either intellectual property in the making, or it may be concerning customer lists that you don't want divulged. It could be any number of things. So pay attention to the trade secret information that we went over this week. You can also look at it from a labor standpoint, but it has to somehow be related to conducting business over the internet. If it's not related to conducting business over the internet, I'm going to send it back to you and tell you and your team you do have to revise this. So when you're creating the scenario, think of it from that standpoint. Again, this is a hypothetical scenario, so it's not a real scenario, but it's going to be based on things that we've read in the news, situations to which we have been exposed in our places of employment, things that friends or relatives have told us about situations, you know, just any number of things, case studies that you've looked at in other courses. It cannot be based on any real world event, though. It has to be a combination of things, and it has to be something that you create that is a fictitious scenario, taking into account our life experiences, both personally and professionally. Hopefully that helps. Next week we'll talk about deliverable 2, or the week after we'll talk about deliverable 2, because what's expected for deliverable 2. After I grade the Team Deliverable 1, I'm going to choose 2 or 3 of those deliverables to move forward. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to reassign teams. So you're not going to have the same scenario that you created. You're going to have a different scenario. And you're going to be either the defendant or the plaintiff. So when you create this scenario, don't make it all one-sided. And what's going to happen is after we do Deliverable 1, we're going to go ahead and schedule a WebEx where we're all going to get together and we're going to talk about the different scenarios that are moving forward and whether we need to remove facts, whether we need to add facts, but be as fact-specific in your Deliverable 1 as possible. It should be no less than 1 full page. Yes, it can be double-spaced, but it really should be, the best method would be single-spaced with double spacing between paragraphs. Please, please, please make sure you use proper paragraph format because you're telling a story. The best scenarios usually are at least a page and a half long. So because you have to be fact-intensive, you have to be specific with the facts that are giving rise to the situation. Your first paragraph is going to discuss the demographics. Who are the parties? What type of work does the company do? If it's an employee, who is the employee? What is the employee's duties? What is the employee's background? And things of that nature. So think about those. Your first paragraph sets up who the parties are. The second and third paragraph talk about the fact situation and what actually occurred. You're only creating 1 issue, 2 issues at the very most. And then your third scenario is your wrap-up. Your last paragraph is your wrap-up. Now, you're not going to specifically say the issue in this case is, or the plaintiff is going to sue the defendant for. You're not going to say that. Your facts are going to lead the reader to understand what the issue is, if that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. You are always welcome to go ahead and send me a draft, and I'll be happy to take a look at it and let you know whether you're heading in the right direction. Okay? Good luck.